Hello there guys and welcome to the latest video rounding up all of the biggest non-league transfers between the 9th of July and 13th of August. Now there's been a lot of transfers happening in the last just over a month. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but there's a lot of transfers to catch up on. So these are all the biggest ones that have taken place. Not every single one, just all the biggest ones from the National League, National League North and National League South. As well as a couple of extra ones and players going up to the Football League as well. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it.
So first of all, we're going to start off with the players that have moved up to the Football League, and we'll start off with Vinny Steels, who is a 16-year-old winger who has left York City and signed for Burnley. It's a bit of a controversial situation, this one. He's a 16-year-old that was only 1 week away from his 17th birthday, and what that meant was at 17 he could sign his first pro contract, because players under the age of 17 are not allowed to do so, and if he signed his first pro contract that would mean that York would get some money for him, but because he was signed 1 week before that, Burnley have managed to snap him up on a free transfer. Second one is Morgan Ferrier. Another controversial situation, this one. Boreham Wood, they complained about a intermediary basically bullying the club, trying to get a move for Morgan Ferrier, and the club have ridiculed what has basically gone on. Morgan Ferrier has come out and said that he's no longer associated with this guy, but then he's actually just a week later pretty much done exactly what he set out to do in the first place, and that is leave Boreham Wood. He has signed for Walsall, and that was for an undisclosed fee. Third one is Callum McFadden, who has left Guiseley and signed for Bury. Fourth one is Jordan Archer, who has also signed for Bury. This time he's a striker coming from Chester. Donovan McComber, a young French midfielder, come through the youth academy at RC Lens in France. Spent his season at Barrow, and now he has signed for Stevenage. And Steve Arnold, also leaving Barrow, he has gone and signed for Shrewsbury Town in League One. Now moving down to the National League, we'll start off with Aldershot Town, who made two good signings, Carly Osborne from Grimsby and Dan Holman from Cheltenham. Barnet have signed Mehdi Elito from Cambridge United, and Byron Harrison, a very, very experienced striker at this level. He scored a lot of goals season before last at Barrow. Barrow themselves, they have made four interesting signings in my opinion. The first one is Reece Turner, a striker coming in from Morecambe, spent the second half of last season out on loan at Stockport. Lee Molyneux has come in from Guiseley. Brian Wilson, a very experienced player, very impressed with this guy. Over 300 appearances in the Football League. He has come in as a right back from Oldham Athletic. And Jason Taylor has come in from AFC Fylde again. Very experienced player in the Football League. Chesterfield have signed Lee Shaw. He scored a lot of goals last season for Grantham Town in the 7th tier, losing in the playoff final to Ashton United in the Northern Premier League. But he's done enough to impress Chesterfield to invest in him. They've also signed Sam Muggleton, who's played for Marcelin at Barnet and at Eastleigh. Muggleton, known infamously for his gigantic throw-in. And finally, Marc Antoine Fortuna, who's played in the Premier League for West Brom. He is signed from Southend United, now 37 years old. Dover Athletic have signed Moussa Diarra. Ebbsfleet have signed Michael Cheek from Dagenham and Redbridge in an undisclosed fee. Very good signing this. Very tall, 6'6" striker. Scored a lot of goals at this level over the last 2 or 3 years for Dagenham and Braintree. FC Halifax Town, another experienced signing for another National League club. It is Nathan Clark, centre-back coming in from Grimsby Town. AFC Fylde have snapped up Ashley Hemmings. This is Ashley Hemmings' second transfer in this summer. The first one, he left Boston and signed for Salford, but pretty much Salford have gone and signed loads more players since they've signed Hemmings, and they've realised that he's now actually not really going to play very many games. Hemmings isn't happy with this and has asked for a move, and Fylde have snapped him up. Fylde have also signed Danny Philliskirk from Oldham Athletic, a good attacking midfielder or striker. Gateshead, who are now under new ownership, and made two signings. The first one is Scott Bowden, who comes in from Wrexham, and Ainsley Pears, who was from Middlesbrough on a season-long loan. He spent last season on loan at Darlington. Hartlepool United have signed two good players. Luke James, coming from Forest Green Rovers, re-signing for the club. Fantastic signing, that one. Scored a lot of goals for Barrow in the second half of last season on loan. And Marcus Ananga, who played for AFC Telford last season on loan. He has come in on loan from Burton Albion. Maidstone United have signed Shamir Mullings from Forest Green Rovers. Salford City, two really big signings for them. Probably the two biggest signings on this episode. And they are Danny Lloyd, who's come in from Peterborough, reportedly on £4,000 a week. His transfer fee, I don't even know what his transfer fee is, but I'd imagine it is a massive, massive fee. Same with Adam Rooney. Again, a big transfer fee. Again, rumoured to be on around about £4,000 a week. It's crazy, crazy money, and it's far beyond what any other team in this league really can afford to pay on players. Wrexham have signed two players, Stuart Bevan an experienced striker that has come in from Coventry City, and Jordan Maguire drew impressed the season before last at Dagenham and Redbridge in the National League, one of the best players in the league that year. He is signed on a season-long loan from Brighton and Hove Albion. Into the National League North, and Brendan Daniels, again like Ashley Hemmings, this is his second transfer of this summer. He signed for Port Vale from Alfreton at the start of the summer, but now he makes another move, this time to Altrincham on a 1-month loan. Ashton United have signed Bohan Dixon from Stockport. Blythe have signed Bradley Fewster from Spennymoor. Boston United have signed Adam Marriott from Royston Town, an impressive player. Brackley have signed Daniel N.T. from Nuneaton. Bradford Park Avenue have signed Jake Beasley from Salford. Chester have made a lot of signings. George Green, the first one, coming in from Nuneaton. Very impressive midfielder, one of the best players in the National League North last season. Simon Grand has come in from Fylde. Danny Livesey and Anthony Dudley came in on a joint season-long loan deal from Salford. And Sean Touton came in from Barnsley after a successful trial. Chorley have completed the signing of Josh Hine from Southport, played for the club 2 or 3 years ago for a few years and scored a lot of goals. Darlington have signed Tom Elliott from Nuneaton, formerly playing under manager Tommy Wright at Nuneaton, and joins after a successful trial. Guiseley have signed Kingsley James from Chester. He follows Marcus Bignett from Chester to Guiseley, and Kane Felix has come in from Brackley Town. Kidderminster have made 3 signings. The first one is James Baxendale from Alfreton, Ed Williams from Gloucester City, and Billy Daniels from Nuneaton Borough. Nuneaton Borough themselves have made 4 signings. Courtney Richards has come in from Macclesfield. James Hurst has come in from Wrexham. James Wesolowski played a lot in the Football League. He has come in from Guiseley, and Yoslain Mayebi, who is a pretty well-known name in non-league football, played for the likes of Wrexham for quite a few years, but then all of a sudden just went missing off the face of the earth, but now he's cropped back up, signed for Nuneaton, and he's actually already left the club. Don't know why he's left, but he has gone. Also leaving is Kemi Augustine, who I highlighted one of the best signings so far this summer in one of the previous episodes. He's left, not sure what the future holds for him. Southport have brought in Josh Langley, who won the National League North with AFC Fylde 2 years ago. Spennymoor Town have brought in Adam Boyes from Bradford Park Avenue, scored around 20 goals last season for Bradford Park Avenue, so it's a fantastic signing for them to play alongside Glenn Taylor up top, who also scored around about 20 goals last season. Stockport County have re-signed Callum Mantak from Oldham Athletic after he sustained a broken leg injury last season while on loan at the club, but he's now recovered and has re-signed for County. York City finally in the National League North have signed a centre-back, Joe Tate. He comes in from Spennymoor Town. Now into the National League South, and starting with big spending Billericay, they brought in Scott Doe from Boreham Wood, who played in the playoff final for the National League last season. Ben Gehring and Adam Coombs have both come in from Welling United. And Alfie Potter, a winger who's played over 200 times in the Football League, he comes in from Mansfield Town. Dulwich Hamlet have made a few signings as well. Daniel Papo has come in from Foresta Sucueva, who play in Romania, but he has previously played in the youth academy at Chelsea. They've also signed Magnus Akunghai from Maidstone United. Torquay United have signed Ryan Dixon from Yeovil, and Andre Wright has re-signed for the club from Nuneaton. Woking have signed Jake Hyde from Maidenhead United. Now on to some signings from lower than the National League North and South level, so the 7th tier or below. First one is Ross Hanna, very experienced striker at National League level, scored a lot of goals for the likes of Grimsby and Chester, and now has left Chester and signed for Gainsborough. Josh McCoyard, who was previously with AFC Bournemouth and the likes of Luton Town as well, he is signed for Weymouth after leaving Aldershot Town. And Richie Allen, this is a massive coup for Longridge Town of the 10th tier of English football. They got promoted from the 11th tier last season. They have signed Richie Allen from Salford City, who's been a big part of Salford's rise up the league system. He was actually the second top scorer in the history of AFC Fylde. He held the record before Danny Rowe took over for him. He's a very good player, now into his 30s. He's signed for Longridge Town.
So there you have it, that is it for this transfer update video. If you enjoyed it, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. The support has literally been insane recently, up to over 7,500 subscribers, about 7,800 now at the time I recorded this video. Absolutely crazy. Thank you guys so much for that. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. So yeah, hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.